Let me tell you about a foolproof natural cure. Surely there's something wrong with you. Maybe more than one thing. Don't worry, I'm a doctor. Now listen. A man who believes in his own miraculous cure is a fearsome man and should be exiled from society. His delusions can only bring wrack and ruin. People recover by themselves in the end, if they recover. It's all luck of the draw. There are some things wrong with me, but I'm curious. What's wrong with you? It takes one to know one, is what they say. Now, listen, I can show you a chamber deep within the earth where the unusual qualities of the cave air will save a dying man. In a month, he'll walk out completely cured. The air contains a perfect balance of minerals, miasmas, past lives, protons, and other things also. A person like this is always looking for a business partner. His ideas are too far ahead of the pack. All he needs is a little capital to buy dozens of beds and move them into a remote underground cavern. The results will speak for themselves. The doubters will repent. The world will be converted. And a man who believes in a foolproof natural cure can really talk. He said it would be an easy trip to see the place for myself. It starts with believing something small like that. It was not an easy trip. After hours climbing through thorny underbrush, we reached a spot where the earth had given way. From the hole, a wind blew that was cool and heavy, as it sometimes feels at a low spot in the road when ignorant people say they've crossed a ghost. He lit a candle and crouched down into the tunnel, and I followed. I was prepared to be cured of the disbelief that's always afflicted me. We live in a world of charlatans, yet we also live in expectation that the truth will one day be revealed, perhaps in the most unexpected place. It won't descend from the heavens with trumpets. No one up there is going to help us. He led me through limestone mazes. I would never remember the way back. I saw splendors surpassing all the beauties of the upper world. Glittering crystal cascades, endless corridors of living rock. It all opened out finally, the light expanding like a dynamite blast to fill a great soaring concavity that dangled white crystalline cobwebs down its sides. This frozen throne room of the dead genuinely exceeded any possibility I'd ever imagined at that time. My friend saw only a huge hospital ward filled with the rattle of tubercular lungs. If the beauty of the place reached him, it was only as the beauty of health, the return to life, made possible by a dark and terrible passage through the obscure chambers of God's discarded elements. Are you yourself cured by it? I asked. The candle he held burned steadily. Almost, he replied, very nearly. My deepest childhood terror was a cave, before I discovered the law of sublimation which prevails in conditions of darkness, scarcity, silence, and forgetting. You simply become vapor, become rock, waste no time on the in-betweens. Dear friend, I will endeavor to give you a fair and an impartial description. Why have I come here to die among strangers? The stranger is led to exclaim, without cause, judging of the place. If we die away from home, that is no strike against it. A sad thing, gales. Invalid atmosphere, soft like antennae, led from anxious mother, filled with ant balm. Approach the city, an impartial judge. Oh, letters, letters, how invaluable a gift of heaven. I shall not leave or be able to stand your objections. I am joining an exploration to the cave's interior. It is perfectly healthy and most pleasant. It dooms the profession of medicine. We are all most healthy. There is no news here, at least I know none, for I have no opportunity of gathering news. I have no time to read newspapers, even if I had. There is no inclination. Glad to hear you have an idea of visiting. Showing you the greater, or rather, most acceptable part shall please me. You shall be much pleased. My time passes heavy. In order that I might do my duty, and it is my wish to do that, I wrote you and have been expecting an answer. I am hapless to wait, to catch anything like a correspondence. Oh, letters, this is so pretty of a place. I am getting very tired of it. I have nothing new to communicate. The days are dull in this country. What is in the womb of time, I am at a loss to determine. Even now that I have commenced writing, I know of so little that is interesting. You will be but poorly compensated. Occupied and perhaps housed by such those ghosts I fully assent to meet with. I believe that within ghosts a consistency will soon enable us to accomplish silver, to be silvered, that we should oak, that we reflect the mind to bring these feelings under. I am not competent fully to instruct you in the plan of salvation. My friend, how a notion of the frontier extinguishes the power of death. Dearest sister, what spirit is there? What's the swindle? Who's the sucker? How to walk on subterranean water? It isn't very deep. Wanting to know where I am, whether I'll be continuous, I recognize what I've loved, the unifying live things, the wringing of truth from desire. It's slippery literature anyway. It's all full of words. My dear comrade, today a fellow patient showed me his lame right leg. He rolled down a grimy wool sock. I saw the striated white crescent of new skin. The bone came through, he said. He said, I stole a horse that threw me and ran off. I lay by the road in the mountains. I saw inside the chalky shell of my tibia like a cracked geode, its facets with blood. I watched for some hours, light passing overhead through waxy summer canopy, falling on the bone which seemed glad of the chance to breathe outer air and refract outer light. While enjoying this rare beauty, there was at the same time a nagging fear that this was what all my bones hoped for, to fracture into the air and show off their marrow for an adoring public. By living, I was in their way. The fear made me push the leg straight, he said, and bind it up. I crawled down the valley. It took 2 days. Do you worry about the bone still? I asked. It's a secret. We're all entitled to secrets. I don't begrudge anything a longing to kill me if I'm keeping it unfree, but the organism is a nest of captivities, so dependent on my bodily integrity. The man certainly had strange ideas. I thought this quaint little story might amuse you. Doing business used to be a simple proposition. A clerk would sit on a high stool and write in a ledger. The ledgers had 2 columns, one for the living and one for the dead. By the blotched light of a kerosene lamp, he would fill a page with every name he could think of. The names of the dead have peculiar power, a kind of tensile strength, the fraying tether to that other world, or perhaps just the guilt of our own forgetting. Alongside the names of the living, they form a great celestial battery. At the end of the day, full ledgers were bundled together in pallets and loaded into a wagon. It was a boom time for the city, which sat upon a great reservoir of persons living and dead. But the managers took on more contracts than they could fill. Names ran out, and the clerks stared at empty pages. The head clerk fired his subordinates and hired new ones, but the quality of their product was low. On a hot night in 1903, the warehouse mysteriously went up in flames. The principal investors gathered that night to entertain a new proposal for a business strategy to occupy some portion of their malignant wealth. They sat in tailored jackets around a long table, the tall windows open to a muggy swamp night. They were ready to drive a hard bargain. Sales pitch. The basic idea is that people will pay to be removed from the freedom of air and space. They'll be progressively closed in by surroundings of ever greater beauty and magnificence until they're pressed against each other. At that point, we'll have to provide some entertainment, like a dog that plays the harp or a laser light show. Everyone is having a good time. The rocks are liquefied with sweat and hallucinations. But we're not lost. Don't worry. Not lost, not yet. Around some imperceptible grain of memory, things begin to crystallize. The pressure is transforming our thoughts. They are sparking in the absolute darkness many miles below the Earth's surface, superheating. Their molecular bonds are dissolving and reforming in a new geometric structure. Audience question, inaudible. Things are so complex. When you ask for clarity, it's extremely frustrating, as though you're asking to be patronized when I believe you very capable of comprehending simultaneous possibilities. Imagine turning over a crystal with many facets, turning it over and over forever. This is the great adventure that I am inviting you and the general public to join. When you ask for clarity, you're asking me to tell you lies. This is not a snake oil operation. The investors begin to leave the room one by one under the pretext that their phones are ringing. As an exercise in empathy, our journey towards the center of things and consequent shedding of individuation and becoming crystalline structures that luminesce eternally for an audience of fossilized micropusks and seashells cannot be overvalued. It is literally priceless. The last investor shakes his head in agitation. Finding his path to the door blocked by disarrayed chairs, he escapes out the window. It is literally priceless, but I'm here to sell it to you. But it's not really selling or buying, it's believing. You are what I want to turn over. It's most unbearable how the minds of others are what you can never see or hold or know. A humid breeze blows through the empty room.